Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ravens Outpost, and this is the Ravens Eye. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Um, I had a big show planned, a lot of things mapped out. It was requiring a co host, and my co host had to opt out tonight because of family issues. Hope everything gets better, buddy. I know how dealing with little ones and their ailments are, and I feel for you. But tonight I thought, I just, wing it like I normally do. Um, and I figured I'd title it to, from ghosts to UFOs to Bigfoot, and how I got here and maybe where I'm going. So, my experience with the paranormal started very, very early in life. I was probably 6, 7 years old when I saw my first full bodied apparition. It was in my house when I was a kid. Um, I woke up and I was getting ready to go to the bathroom. And me and my sister at the time, we were still just little enough to where we could actually share a room because we lived in a little 12 by 60 single wide trailer. And this is back in the 70s. We had bunk beds. I was on the top, she was on the bottom. And get to the foot of the bed, getting ready to climb down out of the bunk, and I could see outside my door, right? And when I looked out into the hallway, I saw what I thought at first was my sister just standing there. And she was looking really sad and leaning up against uh, the wall right outside the bedroom door. And I said, "Sissy, what's wrong? What's the matter? You okay?" And she just ducked her head and she didn't say anything. Well, I heard rustling up underneath the bed underneath me. I'm like, "Well, what in the world is that?" I peeked down over the bed and look, and it's my sister. She's still in the bed. Well, I'm like, "What?" So I look back in the hallway, and that little girl is gone. I don't know. It happened. It happened. I don't know. Can't explain it. Uh, Several years later, you know, I had dreams. It seems so surreal sometimes when I think about it. Um, Dreams of uh, family members that had passed away that I would sit and talk to. Um, Even some that I wasn't very close to, which is really odd. If you're going to have dreams about somebody, you're usually going to have dreams about somebody you're close to, right? But no, not all the time. Not with me anyway. Anywho, several years down the line, I'm probably about mm, 9, 10 years old. Me and my sister are out playing in the yard. It's about dusk, and I've got this account on video. Uh, my sister and I both give our testimony about seeing this cylindrical, this oblong shape looking thing flying through the air, making zero noise. And I mean, it was huge. But we're looking back on it now. We're kids and thinking that a lot of stuff was huge back then when we were so little. But I remember how it looked, and it was the scariest thing. And neither one of us thought to go inside and say anything to mom and dad. We were just dumbfounded. Um, it come off from the south of us, and it looked. What we saw was how you would normally picture the North Star, or mm, the Star of David. The Bethlehem Star. And how you see that in pictures, and it changed. It kept growing, and it became like two stars. We're playing on a swing set at the time. So what in the world is that? And the the lights were projecting like headlights on a car. And back then, I was really big into comics, and first thing I thought of was Shield and their flying cars. And I'm like, whoa, is that a Shield flying car? That is so cool. Oh no, that's not what it was. I mean, it kept getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And until it turned into whatever it was we were seeing. And it just passed over the mountains, is gone. No one said anything about it. We heard nothing about it at all. Nothing. Nothing. It's like we were the only two to see this damn thing. Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of other stories. I won't say tales, so that's not the right terminology for that. Tales to me depict fiction. Well, I've heard a lot of other testimonies about other sightings of UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them now, whatever the terminology is. And there's been a couple that, I mean, mirror what me and my sister saw. Now, we're going to jump forward several years. And my teenage years, I was probably about 16, 17. I kept having the same reoccurring dream. And I've been told what I was dreaming about was the Hat Man. I don't know if that's exactly true or not. Anyway, there was always a girl involved, and she was running from this guy. I remember he was very tall, and about the time I reached 16, I was about as tall as I was going to get. I was about 6 foot about the time. I reached 6'1" when I was about 18, and well, this thing was way taller than me. I had to look up to it, and it was wearing a trench coat and a fedora, and its skin was pasty white. I'm talking pasty, clammy white. And when it smiled, he smiled with all teeth. And I'm not talking what teeth you and I would have. I mean, they were just pointed teeth all around. And I kept having these dreams. And a friend of mine said, you need to just take hold of it, control this dream. Whatever this is trying to take you over. And I'm like, how do you guess that? It's using the girl as your vulnerable spot to try and control you to get closer to you. I don't understand that. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. And I was actually able to overcome my fear and get angry enough to confront this guy. Now, remember, this girl she was terrified. I mean, completely terrified. And I think whatever was going on, I was somewhere else. It wasn't like my friend had said. Thinking about what happened much later, but I remember confronting this guy and hauling off and hitting him as hard as I could, and it's like hitting a fleshy sponge because my fist, when it hit, it was like hitting flesh, but it went right in and it was sucking my fist in. I'm like, holy shit, I've got to snap out of this. I've got to wake up. I've got to wake up or he's got me. Um, I do believe I was having my own run-ins with some type of demonic entity, some type of attachment. That's my own personal opinion. You know, I could be completely wrong. Any of you who actually watch this, uh, hey, holler at me. Let me know if there's anything that you could tell me about this guy because he seemed real happy to see me. He smiled with all them teeth when I come to, punch him right square in the chest. And I had to jump up to do it because, like I said, I had to look up to this guy. This guy was about 7 foot tall. Uh, trench coat and a fedora. I'll never forget it. We were like, I mean, it was always in almost like the same setting. We were in like a park at night. You see the park benches. You see the lampposts lighting the pathways, and he would just glide from. He was gliding. He wasn't really walking. He was gliding, and I woke up, and after that, I don't ever remember having another dream quite like that one. It kind of stopped after that. Um, Later down the road, I've had other encounters, but for the sake of saving some time, back in 2003, it was, yeah, 2003, me and my ex-wife and my former stepson had moved into a new house, and we got it for a steal. And it was a nice house. Moved right in. It was about the same size of the house we had lived in previously. It was um, really nice. Had a little bit more in the way of modern amenities, And I still had a wood stove. Used to having a wood stove, you know. But I remember things started getting weird because we had moved in probably around it was early summer when we moved in, late spring, early summer when we moved in. And then right around the fall when things started acting weird. Um, Things falling off the shelf, strange sounds in the house. I worked night shift, and I remember coming home. Everybody had already left. My ex-wife had left for work. The kids had left for school, and I remember getting home. I'm getting ready for bed. I'm brushing my teeth. I wash my face, and with the water running, almost acting like white noise. In the next room, it was almost like there was a party going on. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Turn the water off, and there's nothing. Nothing. Well, I thought it was the TV back then, an old tube TV. They had timers on them. You could set them to, as an alarm, or you could set them to go off at a certain time, turn on, turn off at a certain time, right? Nope. TV wasn't on. Well, crazy little things like that happened. And right around Halloween, um, I lived in the same neighborhood as my folks. And they called and asked if I wanted a little bit, some trick or treat candy for the kid. And I was like, I want some trick or treat candy. So I went up there and I'm hanging out with the folks, and I get a phone call. And it's my ex wife. She says, Lee, you got to come down here. There's somebody messing around the house. Okay, now this is serious. I said, what are they doing? They said, beating, banging on the doors. Beating and banging on the doors. So I got in the car, got down there. Took all of them about a minute and a half to get down there. And I'm not joking around. If you're fooling around my house and doing crazy stuff like that, you're taking a big chance of maybe getting shot. Just fair warning. And I had my pistol. I had a light. And there was a heavy dew on the ground that night. I'll never forget it. When I got there, the first thing I did was to make a perimeter check. There were no footprints around the house at all. None. And they commenced to tell me that there was a sliding patio door. They would beat on that and then beat on the front door. And wow. Okay. So later on, things got really weird when one night my stepson had told me that he saw a figure of a man standing in his bedroom doorway. He said at first he thought it was me. And this is late at night. Okay. And he sees a silhouette there. He wakes up, sees the silhouette, says, Lee, what's up? What are you doing? And he says the figure just disappeared. And he realizes I'm at work. I'm still at work. Well, the strangest continued. Footsteps in the kitchen. Howls in the middle of in the living room. I kid you not. One night right before bed, I'm laying on the couch in the living room, and I wake up at at my feet, standing right at the front door, where my couch was right beside the front door. There was a girl standing there in this pink, white lace dress, very Victorian. She looked like she was in her maybe early to mid teens. Young girl, looked sad. It's like, whoa, what are you? Who are you? What are you doing in my house? And I blink and she's gone. She looked dead at me. I blinked and she was gone. It was just like that quick. And I'd always kind of been interested. After it was that point, yeah, I'd always been kind of interested in the paranormal, uh, and the afterlife, ghosts. Where do we go? But after seeing her and remembering what I saw when I was a kid, that touched it off for me. It was like this is what I got to do. I got to figure this out. What's going on in my house? And I remember taking dominion over my home. And for me, how I did that was I walked through the house. I had some chimes. I rang the chimes. I rang the chimes. I said, "Spirits of this house, you do not belong here anymore. You do not own this house. This is my house. If you continue to want to stay here, let's live in peace, shall we?" I wasn't mean. I wasn't hateful. I wasn't antagonistic. I tried to be as respectful as possible because if what was there, if who was there thought they still owned the place, okay, then I should be as respectful as I possibly could. And it seemed to do the job because after that, they left me alone. I pretty much told them, I said, "Look, if you're going to stay here, if you're going to stay here, look, leave me alone. All the noise, the banging." And let me back up here. What happened on that Halloween night with the banging on the in the front door and the back patio door? It did that quite often. It wasn't just during the night. It would happen in broad daylight. I was sitting in my recliner in the living room, and there was a knock at the door. I get up to answer the door, nobody's there. And as soon as I closed the door, there was a bang on the patio doors right behind me. I'm like, what the hell is this? So, yeah, it wasn't long after that, I experienced a phantom feet. It's like they dropped it. Now in the living room. We had a fireplace, and it's like whatever it was fell right out of the fireplace, and his feet hit the floor and run from the fireplace into the kitchen. I could never explain that. Me and my brother-in-law were running a phone line. We were putting in extra phone lines in the house. We had to get up underneath the house to do it. The way the floor joists were running, there was no way. Where the living room sat, the floor joists were pretty much on the ground. Okay. there wasn't nothing underneath it to make that noise. I remember when I was a kid, we had a lot of stray cats around the house, and this old trailer. They'd in the wintertime, they'd claw up the floor insulation, get up in the insulation and sleep in there, and they chase each other around and be beating and banging on the floor. Yeah, I automatically thought back, well, maybe that's the explanation. I always try to find a logical explanation for everything that happened. Nope, nothing. Well, here we go. I couldn't explain that. Fast forward, February. Nope, nope, it was January. January 20th, 2004. I'm at work. I'm with my partner. I'm working at the police department back then. And I'm standing right outside dispatch. Me, my partner are in the break room talking to our sergeant. And my dispatcher come in and said, "Lee, you've got a phone call. It's pretty urgent." Okay. So I get on the phone, and it's my sister. She's telling me, "You've got to get home now. Your house is on fire." Well, I left dispatch. I looked at my partner. I looked at my sergeant. I said, "Guys, I got to go. My house is on fire." And my sergeant looked at me and says, "Go, go, go." And pretty much had leeway the whole way there. Um, I broke every speed limit to get there. Pretty much the house almost completely burnt to the ground. There's still some of the frame left. They were able to save some stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, after I'd taken dominion over the house, after I'd laid the ground rules to just leave me alone, they did. And they focused whatever it was that was in the house, haunting that house, was after my ex-wife and my former stepson. To this day, I'll swear to it. There's no way you could convince me otherwise. That's what happened. They damn near killed him. Damn near killed him. There was a lot of strife in the house. Things I'm not going to go over, but it wasn't good. It was bad. It caused a lot. There was stuff going on well before we moved in there, but it didn't get that bad till we did move in there. It caused a lot of trouble. It caused whatever was in that house. And then, through the insurance and donations and to all the wonderful people who had donated the clothes and shoes and stuff for all of us, it was a godsend. It really was. We finally got the house rebuilt. And the day we got the keys, I was the only one moving in. Me and my ex-wife had separated. My stepson, he went on doing whatever it was he was doing. And it was just me there. And after that, after I moved back in that house, it was nice and quiet. I guess it did what it needed to do. I don't know. I never had any problem. I had a couple of dogs there. They were fine. They had no problems whatsoever. As far as I know, the people who live there now haven't had any problems. So I don't know And when it comes to hauntings, it's one of those things where I found out later, the more you learn, and you grow in a little bit more wisdom, you look at things, you look back, and you say, what did happen in that house? Was it something that was already there, or did we bring it there? Or did we break it up? Was it something that was there that through a lot of negative energy that was going on, we woke up? I don't know. I don't know. But whatever it was, wasn't happy. It wasn't really happy at all. And yeah, I was after I moved back in. I moved back in, and late 2004, took several months to get the house rebuilt. It was probably in, I would say, August, I guess. And I remember we I'd had a long weekend. We'd had a rough patch at work, and I needed some time to get away. I needed to get away from that house for a little bit. Um, Even though it was new, it still had memories there, if you understand what I'm saying. So I grabbed the tent, grabbed my gear, and headed to the top of the mountain. 3 days camping on my own. Wasn't the first time I've done that. I had no problem camping by myself. None. I was on the top of the mountain, and the ridge behind me, it was my last night there. It was my last night there. And I remember everything got quiet. I was sitting there listening to, to the night sounds and reading a book. I had a Coleman lantern hung up on a shepherd's hook that I brought, and just sitting there in a camping chair, kicked back. Had one of them fancy chairs. Had one of them you could put out a footrest. It was really cool. So I'm sitting by a roaring fire out in the middle of the woods, enjoying the peace and quiet. I didn't have nobody around me. Behind me, down in the holler, I heard it. Something I'd never heard before. Now, where I was camping at, I walked them woods. I hunted them woods from the time I was 10 years old. With a gun in my hand or not. Cutting wood, whatever. I knew what was there. I knew there were bear. I knew what a fox sounded like. Not too far from where we lived, up in a hollow, maybe about a mile and a half, 2 miles away. There was an old fellow who raised wolves, and every now and then they get to howling, and you could hear what they sounded like. And I appreciated the beauty of that sound, and I also understood what that meant out in the wild. It was kind of terrifying, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Just glad to know they were all behind a 8-foot, 10-foot fence. It was about a 10-foot chain link fence. But I'd never heard anything like this before. And it was pretty damn close. It started out like a roar, to a howl, to a scream. It's the best way I can describe it. There's no way I can mimic it. I've tried and tried. And it shook me to the core because I did not know what the hell that was. First thing I thought, my God, this is a damn werewolf. Is that a damn werewolf? Thinking about the howling. I guess that's the first thing that come to mind, or American Werewolf in London, something like that. You hear but it was so much different. That's the closest thing I could relate it to. And the roar sounded like an African lion. That's the closest thing I could find because I got on the internet and I tried to find animal sounds to match it. I couldn't. It was a hodgepodge of different animals put together. It was the craziest thing and so loud, so deep. It's like, what the hell was that? I don't know. And that was in 2007. 2007, I made that camping trip. Several years later, I remember I am remarried. I have a child. We're living in our second residence because we had to move out of me and my wife had moved out of our apartment and got a bigger home because of our little one, you know. And I remember taking my dog out one night. My wife's at work, and I take the dog out for the night to do his business. And once again, we're out in the woods, all right, very rural. Um, Down below the house, there's a railroad tracks beneath, but beyond that was a creek and then a mountainside. You could see this field down there, and there was a break, a tree line break that separated two different fields. Okay, and while me and my dog were out there, I could hear it. It was that same roar, howl, scream down next to the only thing I think it was down next to the tracks, in between the tracks and the river, and the dairy farm up the road from us. You could hear the cattle start losing their mind, and that sent a shiver up my back. I said, "Holy hell, that's close." And my dog heard it. I said, "Rock, come on, let's go." Normally, we get him outside. He likes to run around, do whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You'll come along with it. I didn't mind being outside, you know, because after that last incident on the ridge there, it's been a while. I didn't think nothing of it. But then I heard it again, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. Got back in the house because my son, he's like maybe 6 months old. No, 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 no. We got back inside, and that was oh, he wasn't even 6 months old. He might have been. No, no, that's about right. That's about right. Yeah, because it was late, mid, yeah, 2014. Trying to piece everything together. I told you guys I'm doing everything by the seat of my pants tonight. Trying to tell you how I got to where I'm at now. Well, moving on down the line, a few years later, 2015, we moved out of that place, moved into another apartment. It's a townhome. We got some space. It's a nice place. And I'm sitting at home, perusing YouTube, and I find Sasquatch Chronicles. Someone had pirated Wes's shows and put them on YouTube. And I started listening to them. Let me tell you something, folks. I was one of those assholes who thought Bigfoot was a joke. I was one of those people who thought Bigfoot was a complete joke and it was nothing but a made up story. Then I heard the Ohio Howl. That was the first one I heard. Then he had Ron Moorhead on. And I heard the Sierra Sounds. And I'm like, my God. That was a damn Sasquatch. Holy shit. Is that what I heard? Was that what was on our property? A Sasquatch? Really? That was crazy, man. Crazy. And after that, I did a lot of research on it. I listened to about every episode I could. It was a long time, man. We moved from there 2016 to the place we're at now. Once again, we were in town then. Okay. When I started doing the research, we had moved out of the country, we moved into town, and I hated it. But we moved back out here in the country, and I'm like, let's just look around, see what happens. And I'm still new at this. I'm still using the term squatchy and all this other dumb stuff people use. Oh, this place looks squatchy. Look at that. Great day. I bet you there's a ton of them up in it. Man, how dumb. Oh, no offense, people. Just I've grown a lot over the years and experienced a lot of stuff. But what really got me was found 04 Service Road, not far from my house. I'll tell you, it's in the Jefferson National Forest here in Southwest Virginia. And I found a spot, just looked good. Looked like a good spot. What me and my poor old daddy would go to hunt ginseng. I stopped my Jeep, got out, and I heard something. It sounded like a bird, but kind of like a mechanical bird. I don't know. It's the weirdest. And I'm in the middle of look, I'm about 3 miles into the woods. I mean, all around me. Civilization is miles in either direction. Okay? And I hear this sound. It's almost like a mechanical bird deep in the laurel bushes. And I'm like, I'll be damned. Because you keep hearing these tales. There I go again. My apologies with that word. You keep hearing the stories, the eyewitness accounts of the mimicry. You hear about how these creatures can mimic just about anything. What in the world was that? Was it? And then I said, okay, let's get out here and start looking around. Then I started putting that knowledge that I'd acquired listening to all of these eyewitness accounts. That's where my base knowledge came from. Other people telling what they saw. Not so-called researchers or Bigfoot enthusiasts. No. I got my knowledge from eyewitness testimony. And it bore fruit. Tree twists, tree breaks, strange markings on the ground. It's like, wow, what in the world? But my first big sign, my first track I found. It was Thanksgiving Day. It was actually a warm day. I was at my mom's family get together. She's the matriarch. Everybody gathers at mom's place for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. She's got a bigger house now, and we got a brood. Me and my sister, we got a brood now. So everybody gets together. And, my sister's kids have kids, and I got kids. So me, my sister, my brother, my oldest nephew, my nephew who was actually supposed to be hosting with me tonight and couldn't make it, we all went for a walk to walk off that turkey. And there was a field. There's a patch of woods, maybe about, I don't know, 150 yards from my mom's to the other field. And we're walking around. And up on a ridge beside us, if you're looking straight, okay, we're walking. You're looking at me. Okay. It would be up on this side. Okay. It's walking. Well, let's walk up there, take a look, see what's going on up there. Because they've been cutting timber like crazy up there. And it's like, I've cut timber before, and I did what I had to do. I hate what it does to the environment, and it's not done right. But they were just laying it down. There was brush piles about 10 feet high. And I remember we were walking along, and I happened to look down, and I saw it. A knuckle track. It was like this. Down in the ground. It was like it was these 3 knuckles and the thumb pushed down in the ground. Not far from my mom's. That was the craziest shit. I said, you have got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And I started putting 2 and 2 together. Out in that field is my cousin. Okay. He's a big game hunter. And a big time hunter. And he leaves big gut piles out in the field. Something gets him. Something will get him. And I got to thinking how a lot of people talk about how the forest folk primarily go after the soft organs. They'll rip them open and eat the guts first. I'm like, maybe there's something to that. Finding that track there. I thought that was crazy. But that was my first one. Then I found the second one right in one of my research areas. I say research is as loose a term as possible. I do a lot of investigating. I don't do a whole lot of research, but I try to apply what practical knowledge I have and going about trying to figure it out. I'm not really trying to prove anything as much as I am trying to figure things out. If you understand what I'm saying, just like with the ghost, the whatever it was that was haunting my house, trying to figure out why they do what they do, what they do. And I've went on several ghost hunts after that, independent of that. Uh, and I went from doing ghost hunting to investigating cryptids and seeing that there's a troop right here next to me. It was awesome. Till it wasn't. I mean, I've had my own run-ins with them. And the big question is one thing here about Sasquatch. Do I trust them? No, I don't. I don't. And I tell you, they have a mind to mind their own business till you are in their business. They might give you a warning, but if you don't heed it, the ones around here pretty much try to keep to themselves from what I've gathered. And I've been looking into this. I don't know how. Look, I'm not basing my knowledge on anything outside of where I'm at. Just where I'm at. This is what I can tell you. The Sasquatch around here mainly try to keep to themselves, keep hidden, and don't mess with anybody. For the most part, unless you're out here poking around, doing things you're not supposed to be doing, according to them. That's those are my words, right? This is my way of thinking. I'm no scientist. I'm just an old redneck from Southwest Virginia trying to figure something out that nobody else is wanting to tell you. Right? And I know they're out there. That's a fact. But these forest folk, if they don't want you around, they'll let you know. They will surely let you know. Now, where I'm at today, this is that's a story about where I started, and this is where I'm at today, running this channel. I like being out in the woods. I like, finding new things, but I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. If you're coming to this channel looking for someone who's out to prove something, you've landed on the wrong channel. I've nothing else to prove. I've got photo evidence, tracks, breaks, bends, structures. It's all on this channel. It's all on this channel. All you got to do is look. It's all here. And I've got nothing else to prove. I know they're here. My thing now is I want to figure out how all this fits together. Because I've said in my first cringy video, if you watch my first cringy video, I told you it's all connected. And I still believe that. I still believe it's all connected. One thing after another. There's a reason why there's an uptick in Bigfoot sightings after a UFO sighting. There's a reason why there's an uptick in paranormal activity after a Bigfoot sighting. And why is that? Why? I remember watching the Unwanted Sasquatch. It's on Amazon Prime. You get a chance to watch it. Watch it. And there's a guy. They had this episode. It's an older episode. They were showing in the documentary. This had to be probably in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, when they were interviewing these people about Sasquatch. I'd say it was more like the early mid to late 80s. But anyhow, this guy started talking about portals, and I remember at the time thinking this guy is a fruit basket. Yeah, shame to say it, but thought he was a fruit basket. But I know better now. Now I'm the fruit basket. No, I'm the nut. And I've said it before. I'm not totally buying into all these other theories because nobody truly knows. It's what could be. And like I said, I ramble a lot, and I hope you guys can appreciate that. Because I think right here is where I'm going to be at for the most part. I'm going to be right here in front of this microphone, in front of this camera, doing my thing here. I'm going to probably be getting back out in the field eventually. But Bigfoot Hannon, good night. I know it's late. It's after midnight now. Iron Dogger, how you doing? It's a late night. Talking about everything paranormal tonight. Look, like I said, getting started was a wake-up call for me. Chasing ghosts, looking for UFOs, and then now hunting Bigfoot. And once again, I hate that term. By the way, I'm just going to lay that out there. I hate the term Bigfoot. Oh, you were in Alaska. Oh, yes, indeedy. Well, howdy from Alaska, Iron Dogger. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm about ready to wrap her up. Been on here for almost an hour running my mouth, flapping my gums. But any of you who tune in, remember the name of this channel used to be Cryptids, Myths, and Mysteries. That's what I named it back in the day when I first started. I changed it to the Ravens Outpost because it's a little bit more paranormal friendly. I'm not pigeonholing myself into the cryptid world altogether. I mean, I've been a part of it, but I'm up to and open to exploring other things again. You know. By the way, Iron Dogger, if you're still paying attention, I'd really like to know what kind of stories you got up there. Any Sasquatch sightings up there that you know of, close to you? I bet there's a bunch. It's been a long road. It's been a long road. And hopefully, this channel is in its infancy right now. And hopefully, it's going to get better. Um, I'm working on. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. I've heard those rascals grow up to about 15 feet tall in some areas, and the Pacific Northwest, and Canada and Alaska. You hear tell of them being about that tall. You see one about 10 foot tall would blow my mind. And that's another thing. I've heard them. They've been all around me, and I know it. But I have never seen one. Seen tracks, but never seen one. I'm okay with that. If I see one, that's great. That's great. But if I don't, that's okay too. I really don't need to. Really don't need to. I enjoy it because it's part of, getting out in the woods. I enjoy getting out in the woods. Oh, okay. I will do that. Mogollon Monster, he's been around a long time. I've seen him. We've chatted a little back and forth. Um, Bigfoot Odyssey. Oh, yeah. He's got some experience in this field. um, but I do enjoy doing what I do and getting out when I can. But this channel right here is going to be based around a lot of everybody's experience. I want to hear what anybody has to say. I don't care if it's cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, or what have you. I don't care. That's what this is about. We're trying to gather knowledge and share it. You know, this right here, I've had a bunch of experiences, but was so disconnected, I didn't realize it, tracks and all. That is a common story. That is a common story. There's so many people out there who have had experiences with cryptids or the paranormal that they just brush aside. They don't think nothing of it. Talk about Mogollon Monster. He likes to help promote other channels and hear what they're fascinated by. Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm of the same mind. I'm of the same mind. Like I said, I'm not trying to figure any. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm beyond that. I'm past that. That's in my rear view, man. It's in my rear view. I'm trying to figure out what makes them tick. Why are they here? What do they want? What do they do? I'm trying to figure out why there's so many more hauntings going on now. Maybe it's a big trend. Maybe people are just getting more interested in it because, there wasn't nothing much else left to do. You know, after the coof hit, you know, you got that right. We have got an embarrassing amount of proof. An embarrassing amount of proof. Hair, tracks of all kinds, DNA. It could be. It very well could be. There's a lot of people who, well, it's not so much the hollow earth theory, which, I can almost buy into. You know, there's the center of the earth is actually just a theory, all that magma. We've only reached so far. Um, about 20, 30 miles, maybe. That's about how deep we've gotten. Who knows? But it's very well possible. I mean, they got to travel around somehow. You know, there might be ways that we just don't know about, hidden. Now they keep it hidden. I mean, how else is uh, between 8 to 15 foot creature get around the way it does? You know, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more I found out there than just Sasquatch. Um, I haven't actually seen them personally either, but I have seen sign of them. It's what they refer to as the little people, um, brownies, maybe, maybe pugwudgies. I don't know. I don't want. I don't want to say pugwudgie too much because their reputation precedes them. They're some vicious little bastards, according to stories. Ah, yes, the seven grandfathers had the Sabe as an honesty lesson. The Sabe. You wouldn't happen to listen to Steve Isdall, would you? I'm a faithful listener. Ray! Greetings, dear friend. How are you and how have you been? It's been a long time. Hmm. That right there, I don't doubt. Steve. You love Steve. Yeah, I love Steve too. Steve's a great guy. He tells it like it is. He don't mince words, and he ain't scared to drop an F bomb. And to be honest, I've held my tongue tonight. I usually cuss like a sailor, but the reason why I'm making this show, The Ravens Eye, so late at night, is because there's liable to be an F bomb or two dropped. And frankly, hey, I'm just going to start putting a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. So be warned. Still mean as hell. Glad to see you too. I see you chimed in on a couple of my previous videos. I dropped one today uh, talking about camouflage. Adult show. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I figure where the kiddies have gone to bed about around 11 o'clock, or well, they should be. And the adults are talking, so let's let her roll. I'm not going to do too much. I'm really, really going to try and filter myself as much as I possibly can in my, pre-recorded videos that I drop. But on the live shows, I'm definitely going to, probably let the Phil Florent Phil fly if I get in the right mindset. Oh, yeah. If you own a bar and a restaurant, I guarantee you speak fluent BS. You hang around enough military and law enforcement, and you learn to speak that crap too. Yeah, it's been. But where I'm at right now, like I was saying with this channel, I want this to be a meeting place where we can all get together and. Okay, here we go. Here's the first one for the night. It's after midnight. Fuck yeah. Yeah. The Iron Chick. I drop F bombs like raindrops in spring. Oh, hell yeah. That's the shit, boy. There we go. So it's after midnight and everything's popping. I was actually going to plan on dropping this. I dropped this an hour early tonight. Um, I had uh, my co-host had to drop out on me for personal reasons. He's he's got he's got a little girl. She's going through some problems. They changed some food on her. She's getting ready to turn 1 this weekend. She's getting ready to turn 1, and she's going through a little bit of trouble. Her little tummy's bothering her. She's a real sweetheart. She is. Um, but he's had his hands full today, and so he had to opt out, and I can't blame him. I understand exactly where he's coming from. Exactly. It's been a long time since I was able to sit down and talk with people who who actually talk like me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really do. It's temporary. I hope. It is a dark world, indeed. But another thing, you know, if you're out there looking for these critters, if you're one of the people who are out there looking for these critters, uh, there's a lot more out there you got to deal with. You know, there's a possibility of finding something that you just don't want to, you're not looking for. And like old Squatch, they have a they have a tendency to sometimes want to follow your ass home. I don't like that idea one bit. Not one bit. The world of alcohol is wicked F. Is that wicked as fuck? And that's what I got out of that. No. Well, that's oh, I bet. I bet. Oh no, yeah. Oh, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. I tried to take a little nap before I started the show, but that didn't work out too well. Going through a lot of crap. Everybody's going through a lot of crap. Oh, yeah. I bet that's interesting. Senior citizen nap. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm uh, about there. Hit the big 5-0 this year. Won't be long. I'll be able to get my senior citizens discount. I think that's the only reason why my wife's holding on to me. But yeah, kind of, kind of got off the subject. Yeah, this is what we're doing. This right here, the conversation. Uh, you know, get a conversation started about what's going on out in the world, what what we can do, what we can't do, what we see about what's going on. You know, ramble, bullshit a lot, share stories and knowledge. This is the outpost, after all, the Ravens outpost, and this show is called the Ravens Eye. And that's what brought Odin all his knowledge back. I know I'm not a pagan, but I'm fascinated by it. Gotta my husband gets a military discount. I love discount coupon. That's that's great. Yeah, I got a problem with autocorrect too. I had to. I got to turn that off on my phone. I do. I I've had so many auto connect or autocorrect. Oh my god, autocorrect problems in text because I text a lot, and I got to go into settings. I got to turn that crap off. If I have a problem spelling a word, I just fucking look it up. Hell with it. But we will be going live again, good Lord willing, Friday. Hopefully I'll have a guest host on here. We'll be going live probably about around midnight. Um, my good friend John Buckley, if he can make it, hopefully we'll chit chat and talk about things. He's got some interesting stuff going on in his mom's property that he's been telling me about, and we could talk about that and whatever else is going on. He's been doing a lot of traveling, um, seeing a lot of these different places. He's been to the LBL. Um, he said that wasn't near as creepy as one of the other places he went to right after that. And he said he didn't get a bad feeling there at the LBL at all. Did a cartwheel in my mind. That's great. That's right. We take them happy moments when we can get them, and I'm here to tell you, I can't do no cartwheels no more neither. Yeah. Tell you what, guys, an hour and 20 minutes. Wow. An hour and 20 minutes. I've run my mouth for an hour and 21 minutes. But had a very good friend today. Uh, some of you might know him. um, he he gave me some very good advice, and that I need to quit rambling so damn much. Uh, Brent Thomas is a great guy. I'm going to tell you that right now. And those of you who don't already know it, the guy you see on Paranormal Portal is the same guy he is outside. He's a great guy. The old late night chat days. Yeah. Hey, you remember me post doing live stream out on my porch at night and you couldn't see shit, but boy, I just run that mouth and we all talk. We're missing Rick. Hey, Painless. It's all right. I started early, man. I started early. Um, it's probably going to be a midnight show after this. Yeah, we'll sit around and talk about all kinds of stuff. Bring up a subject and see what happens. It's Iron Dogger. You love the name, huh? It's does the Ravens Outpost suit it now? I hope everybody likes it. It's a change. It's a needed change for me anyway. And I'm going in a different direction. Going in a different direction. I love having people having a what I want to do. What my vision is this. You know, I'm going to have a co-host. Hopefully, yeah, that's right. That's right. And I want to have discussions that involve everybody. And if you have questions and things like that, you put them in chat. You know, if there's a lot more people, we'll do it like they do Bigfoot Odyssey or on Paranormal Portal. You put everything in bold or in all caps. That way you can see it better. But I'm working on a new program. Brent turned me on to this one, and I feel like it's a complete idiot because I can't seem to get this to work right. But it's the same program Brent uses for his show, and you see how good it is. So if I can get it going, if I could get the wheels on the ground, man, it'd be great. Roundtables, yes. Roundtables are great. You know, I I hate an echo chamber so much. You know, a lot of painless. There's a lot of unanswered questions out there. It's right, absolutely. Like I said before, And I'll say it again. I'm not here to prove a damn thing. I'm here looking for answers. I ain't got nothing to prove. And from the people in chat right now, Iron Dogger, Raid Dog, Painless, you guys, I don't think you guys need proof either. You already know. You already know that there's something out there. There's something out there that we need to know about. The damn government ain't gonna tell us shit. They didn't prove that. Their disclosure, excuse me, junk in the background. Their disclosure of the UAPs, or whatever they want to call them now. That was all a distraction. It's smoke and mirrors. They're just showing us what we already know. But when you get the Air Force and Navy pilots out there, and a couple of Marine pilots that have had interactions with these aircraft that defy the laws of the known laws of physics, then that's where your answers are. I don't look for the government for answers for anything. They don't tell us shit. It's up to us. It's up to us. Yep, that's right. UAP crap. Yep, it's bullshit. Yep, they're feeding us a lot of bullshit. We've been mushrooms so long, you know. And love them or hate them. And I don't like bringing politics into this, but it's taken over everything. Everything. But love him or hate him, Trump pulled the freaking curtain back and let a lot of people see what the hell was going on, whether he meant to or not. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm Trump's biggest fan, but I'm not going to say I'm totally against him. But our government they ain't even hiding it now, right? So what's going on? And when it comes to when it comes to what we know and what the government thinks we know, yes, indeed. Okay. Lies, lies, lies. I remember when I was a kid, I used to trust Walter Cronkite. I remember when I was a kid, I used to trust Dan Rather. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No. These people, and I respect what they're doing. I'm not trying to put them down. And I'm not trying to put anybody down for trying to prove these things exist to the general people, right? Because they need to know. We do. We need to know. But I also believe, and maybe I got a backwards way of thinking. I don't know. But I think if enough people gather together and talk about a subject, you know, and share their knowledge either face to face or through a platform like this, and share it, imagine how many eyes maybe we could open then. We don't need these jerk offs in the government to tell us what we already know. You know, we never needed that. Why do they need validation? If you've already got it through what you know, what other people have known, you gathered around these circles of people who've seen, heard, or just believe and talk. What else do you need? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Walter Cronkite, you're older than you look. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm a lot older than I look. Fort Detrick. Wow, biochemist. So Ray, how early you talking? My first experience was probably about 6 or 7 years old. Collective consciousness, the 100th monkey effect is worth exploring in humanity. That follows right a little along the line about what I was talking the other night. And it's one thing. Okay. So Brent, he passed this along to me. He said, I'm random. What I say? I'm not scripted. And I need to be when it comes to certain subjects. I need to, build. I need to have a point and stick to it, and to some level. And I totally agree with him. I was already thinking along those lines before he said it, but I'm glad he did. You know, 8. Yeah, it's early. Early. I remember. I remember when I was a kid being terrified of the dark. And I'll tell you something else too. And my sister, she she told me that she used to have dreams of monkey people in the woods. Okay, monkey people in the woods, and I said, "Are you sure you didn't see something when you were little and just trying to repress it?" No, I didn't see nothing. Blah blah blah. She she's a denier. I love her to death. She's, I, I think she's a denier. She blames it on the cartoons we used to watch. Okay, growing up in the '70s, I don't know how many people remember Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, but Saturday morning cartoons, that was my thing, and they had the talking apes in there. I believe they were called the Mangani. Brent, how you doing, partner? We're sitting around shooting the breeze. But anyway, my sister says she believes that's the reason why she was dreaming about the monkey people in the woods. But later on, I'm thinking, hey, maybe you did see something. Don't know. A paranormal portal. Welcome to the Ravens Outpost. Sitting here with some friends here, just having a little bit of roundtable discussion about a few things, shooting the breeze, working on a 2-hour show, Hard to believe. I started an hour early. I saw you were on. I'm trying to find a good catch in between because I don't like stepping all over people. But I saw how, and it was really great to watch how this transpired. I was watching Bigfoot Odyssey, and then the next thing I know, I'm Brent. I'm over at your show, and everybody followed over to your show that was watching Bigfoot Odyssey, and there was another show. Those that didn't have to get up early in the morning would follow over to the other show. I'm like, this is fantastic. This is great. This is a good bunch of people. Sure enough. Brent, I'm glad you stopped by. Was your ears burning? I was talking about you a little bit there, pal. Only good stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, you sure do. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. It's good. Yeah, you do it. The early part uh, is just talking about how I got started. You know, my fascination for the paranormal started early, and my fear of the paranormal started early too. Now, but when you're 6 or 7 years old and you see a full-bodied apparition outside your bedroom door of a little girl, it shakes you a little bit, you know. And then you have a bunch of other things happen to you in life that you just can't explain. Um, it, it really does change how you view things. And my mind, uh, when we talk today, Brent, when we talk today, um, the you said a lot of good stuff, and my mind is sometimes like Swiss cheese, and it's hard to predict what hole this information is going to fall out of. So I got to kind of narrow the pathway a little bit, and I appreciate the advice. I really do. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's a lot for an adult, much less a child. I don't know. Sometimes children take it a little bit better than adults do because they don't have that. They still have that sight. They have that ability to see, and it all depends on the. Yeah, I mean, seeing the little girl wasn't too bad. It was the freakier part was when I thought it was my sister because it was really dim in the hallway. We had a nightlight in our bedroom because when we were little, we shared a bedroom and we had bunk beds, right? And there was a nightlight in there, and I was just seeing her from the light from that nightlight, and I thought it was my sister. Then I heard the rustling on the bunk below me, and it was my sister. That wasn't her. Who's this girl in my hallway? And then she was gone. It was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, um, me and my brother from another mother. He we were talking a while back about an experience we had, and It involved me, him, and another friend of ours, and that's a story for another time, I guess. But it was pretty wild. It was on a Halloween night. Some of this stuff is so cliche. It was like right out of a movie. This right here, it's true. My son will not sleep in his bedroom. I've run through and I've cleansed it, but he just won't do it. He said he saw a creature under his desk. It was dark. All he could see was eyes and teeth. Now, my little boy is autistic, and he it scared the bejesus out of him. It's hard for him to sleep alone. It's hard for him to sleep alone. Um, he's up all the time. If he's sleeping, he'll sleep during the day a little bit. He'll sleep at night if he's got his dogs with him. Get them while they're young. Yeah. I don't. I'm not going to lie to my son about the things that are out there. If he wants to know, I'm going to tell him. If he's got questions, I, they're exactly right. Their energy's untainted. I think somewhere along the line in our growth process, if as we mature, society puts the blinders on us, and we don't see things like we used to anymore. It's been an interesting ride with my son, and he talks about certain dreams he's had. Um, I used to dream about my dad, and these weren't so much dreams as they were visitations. And this is after my dad had passed away. And I haven't talked to him much here lately, but I think he's talking to my son because he's talked to me here lately about talking to grandpa. Now, that's really neat. And if he's not talking to me, he's talking to my son. I'm okay with that. And then, he got a little sad about grandpa being gone and all this, that, and the other. I said, Grandpa's fine. Grandpa's fine. So, right. It's just a bad dream. Go to bed. I can't do that after everything, everything I've been through, everything I've seen in my life. I cannot and I will not ignore it. And he's exactly right. It's exactly right. If my son says there's something going on, I'll believe him. Now, my little boy ain't no angel, you know. When I say that, I mean he's a little mischievous. Most little boys are, and he'll tell a little fib every now and then. But when it comes to, you get to know your child. You know, you know your child. You know when he's bullshitting, when he's not. And that's a simple fact. And when my child is serious about this, I know. It's like I know when he's sick. I know when he's telling a story. When he's lying to me. I know. He's got to tell. You know, He's got a certain way he holds his head, so hold his mouth, the way he looks, and I can just tell. And when my child says he saw some creature in his bedroom underneath his desk, eyes and teeth, evil, nasty eyes and teeth, I believe him. He saw something. He can't he can't sleep in there no more. He'll go in there and play a little bit, but that's about it. Right, right here is something I want to touch on later on. Brent, I'm so glad you stopped by, buddy. You have a good night. Hey, you too, buddy. Love you, mean it. I don't know for all of you who have ever, uh, all of you worked, watched a lot of my videos. It's usually how I sign off, and well, there's a reason why I say that is because I do mean it. You know, a lot of you who put forth the time and effort to actually watch the videos I put out and comment on them and just maybe share. It means the world to me. I started Cryptids, Myths, and Mysteries 3 years ago as my own personal vlog. I didn't expect it to get anywhere. I didn't expect to be where I'm at right now. And I've had a few bumps along the way, but I'm proud of what's become of this channel. I mean, it's small, but it's all right. I know who's here. Absolutely, it's all about energy, intention, energetic projection. I've talked a lot about this in a couple of videos about intent, how you will be, say, this. We're going along lines of some in deep sense of intuition that is buried as you get older. Children have it. It's right there like that. But as an adult, a lot of people they'll be standing at the checkout line at the grocery store, right? Checking out one of the tabloids on a magazine rack, right, waiting to get checked out. And all of a sudden they have to turn around and look, and there's somebody staring a hole at them. How did they know? They felt it. They felt the intention. They felt that energy. It, People can say what they want, but if you can't, I'd say you can't deny it, but there's a possibility that a lot of people just want to gnosis. Yeah, genosis. Yeah. I get on a tangent. I do. Sorry. I gotta apologize for that. Um, some people just will flat out refuse to acknowledge um, what's going on around them. It's almost like they can't see the forest for the trees. You know. Let's put this up. Oh, I got okay. I got kicked out. I do not know what happened just now. I do not know what happened. Okay, is everybody still here? Can you still hear me? Yeah, my son is very um in tune. Well, thank you. Yeah, my son is very, very in tune. Yeah, I got kicked out of my own stream. What the hell? Thank you, Painless. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Iron. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a bunch. Now, my son's what they refer to as high functioning. Um, he is. There are times when you wouldn't know that he's autistic until you hung around him for a while, and then you saw the certain mannerisms, the certain ticks, and that he has, things that he does. They All right, I will do that, Dr. Mary Rodwell. That's the one thing I really want to do is get inside my kid's head sometimes and see how it works. And sometimes it seems he has zero interest in certain things. Then all of a sudden he'll surprise me and then he'll just dive into it. And then all of a sudden he knows more than me. It's crazy. You should see the kid play a video game. That's true. I've seen so many shades of gray that it I don't know whether to call it a blessing or a curse. I don't know. In some instances. Hey guys, hold on. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Yet another interruption. um, I wouldn't be surprised if my son has some form of that. His, yes, 100%. Yep. That's exactly what I'm trying to instill in my son. So far, unless they're hiding it very well, they're actually teaching my son. I'm not trying to indoctrinate him, you know. Well, we won't go down that rabbit hole, but I talked a little about energy and a mass of energy on my last broadcast about how I believe how people are so energized and motivated and who want some type of answer. They're more awake now than they have been in many, many years. And I this is just a personal opinion. I've noticed an uptick in cryptid sightings, uptick in paranormal activity around the globe. Um, could it possibly be? Could it possibly be that all that energy is opening up the veil, so to speak? And my son sees a lot of stuff, and I don't, I don't question it. I question what he sees, but for what it is, not that he's actually seen it. If you understand what I'm saying, maybe it's because you know. All right, take what they talk about how that power of prayer and intent. There's a lot of anger in this world. Let's diverge from that, and this there's a lot of anger and pent up frustration in the world, and it's all being focused. And there's so many people projecting so much energy. It's got to be going somewhere, and it's got to be doing something. I could be wrong. That's just how I'm looking at it. I could be so far away off base. You know, we're talking about intent. We're talking about um, uh, energy and projection. But you look at the effect collective consciousness, and it's becoming that way. You see the polarization of how we are as a nation, how the world has become polarized in certain countries in one form or fashion. You're forming tribes now, you know, and it's gotten to the point to where people are their ideas have been so swayed one way or the other that they can't agree on the color of the the clouds in the sky. They can't agree on the color of toast. I don't know. I don't like. Huh, Rick, Eric. Is that what we're calling you? I've called you Rick for so long, pal. Purple Hobbit. I've called you that for so long. I'll just call you Eric. Cool, cool. Is that is that where we're at now? Did not mean to any disrespect, pal. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. But if I'm losing you, if you've got any cool, cool. Whichever you prefer, Hoss. But if any of you believe I'm off base with this whole energy theory thing, let me know. Because that's what this is all about. This is mm-hmm. Yeah. I keep to myself most of the time. I used to be very social. I used to be outgoing, and I was content with how things were. I was content with knowing that, you know, oh, you're killing me. You're killing me, Rick. I was content with knowing that things were the way they were, and they were always going to be the way they are, and they were okay. You know, and I had that mindset for such a long time. I was a drone about like a lot of people. I mean, I hate to admit it, but I was. Then somebody pulled back the curtain and showed me what was what. And first words out of my mouth was, "Well, fuck." Here we go, and down the rabbit hole I went, and I've been down there ever since. I It's hard to talk to anybody about this because they're so stuck in the here and now and in their own little bubble. While I worked in law enforcement, we used to describe people's attitude as, living in a bubble. They paid too much attention to Hollywood TV and how that worked, and um, spoon fed all the BS from the mainstream media. They didn't know how twisted and evil and just turned upside down the real world really was. And so they lived in their little bubble, and a lot of people still do. So here we go. Cancel culture, man. Yeah. And that is so true about so many things of how dumbed down we've been. It it's true. It's true. And this right here, This right here is what's put me in the frame of mind of thinking about this whole energy theory and how things are reacting to how we are and the energy we're projecting. You know, yes, indeed. This is one thing I also believe. Deep down, I'm a Christian, and I don't. I've got my own personal relationship with the Lord. Let me put it to you that way. And I believe that everything's happening for a reason. The saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. So, you heard what they say, bad times make strong men make good times make weak men make bad times. And that's where we're at right now. You look at how many weak individuals out there who will stand idly by and let evil just run roughshod all over the place. Pain is the teacher. I had a sensei tell me that once. Yeah. That was back when I learned the old fashioned way and got my ribs cracked. That was great. No, it wasn't. But pain taught me a lot. Free will. And this comment right here, your last statement, free will, is something that some individuals in the upper echelons of government want to totally sever from us. I don't know why I'm wearing these headphones. Can't hear anything. Figure I'll take them off. Stick a fork in a light socket. I remember my sister when we were kids got a hold of my dad's car keys and figured it'd be cool to stick his car key in the electrical outlet. Oh, that was not a pretty sight. Bless her heart. She squalled. You say they can never take away what God's given us, but they sure as hell can try. Let them come on. It's okay. Luckily, my sister just barely stuck the key, got it in there just enough to where it would send out that electrical shock, and it zapped her. It didn't. It didn't bite her too hard. Yeah, got the point. Got the point. Collective consciousness. There's a lot of that. Yeah, it's back and see how people will just. Well, let's put it this way: they truly believe that ignorance is bliss. They would rather put their head in the sand than face the truth. They would much rather put their head in the sand than face the truth of what's going on. Ignorance is a comfortable prison. Who was it said that four walls do not a prison make? And it's true. And there was somebody who also said that slavery never ended, never truly ended. That it's all been packed up in this. You see how many people are like this all the time. Maybe look up. Look up. Family sitting around together. They're all on their cell phones. Whew. Painless. Sounds like you were in a lot of pain then. Holy moly, 6 ribs. Only cracked two. Cracked them. I didn't break them. I just cracked them. Damn. No, people don't like to think about shifting their paradigm, and they can't step out of their comfort zone. They can't do it. They can't face up to the fact that they're being led around by the nose. Oh, damn. That is rough. And you're absolutely right. Ray, change is necessary for growth. Now, we're totally off the subject of the paranormal right now. And as it stands, does anybody really give a shit? I mean, it's. I mean, some of it has to do with it. I think personally, that's just me. Like I said, that's just me. But there's a lot of talk that we're already in a cold civil war, and that we need a peaceful divorce that's in this country. What's the subject right now? Well, we're kind of talking about the subject of the state the world's in right now, and how bad things are, mm, and well, I started it off talking about how I thought that it was all um, directly related to the uptick of paranormal activity. Rick, you say we've been in a cold civil war since the '60s, up to I'd say probably up to about the '80s. I would say so. There was one decade there that just kind of everybody just kind of vegetated. There's no is dude 6 ribs at 67 years old, dude. That's just too much. That's rough. That is rough. I've said it before, and in this live stream, in my very first cringy ass video, I talked about how I felt it was all connected, how everything's connected. Everything paranormal is paranormal to me. It's all under the same umbrella. The paranormal, parapart normal. And I think it's between the spiritual manifestations, the UFO sightings, the cryptid sightings, all this other stuff. Uh, I think there's an uptick because of the way the world's in right now. It's a sign of the times. It is all connected. When I say cringy, you go back and watch my very first video. Lord have mercy. Oh, I was just filming myself when I was nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Not kidding. Like, but I did say that. I said what I meant and meant what I said. I believe it's all connected. Well, I appreciate that, Ray. I do. I appreciate that. I'm thinking about upgrading this one for right now, the StreamYard, so I can actually do um, Facebook too, so I can get broadcast on the group. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rick. Had on a personal note, had a trip to the hospital about a month and a half ago that changed my perspective on a few things. Just let me know just how mortal I am and how finite our time is on this planet. And I'm glad you like that. I'm glad I made you laugh a little bit there, Ray. It really did put my life in perspective, how short this life is. And I'd wallowed in my own mess for long enough. Depression had whooped my ass and put me in a state of bad mental health and physical health that it just totally screwed me up. I'm working on getting my shit together now, and hopefully, right now, this what I'm doing with this channel is going to help me a lot. And I appreciate you guys along for the ride, 110%. They can. Well, I believe that. I think it's pain is a teacher, indeed, and I was in a lot of pain. Keep working on it, a little bit at a time. Stay focused on on my family, on my friends, and life in general, and pass along a little bit of information. What I find, I've been all about it from I don't know, since about last year or so, when I realized I don't need any more validation, you know, about what I know about what's out there. I just need to pass along what I know, and then lead. I like to have a lot of other people along for the ride. Somebody I can talk to, bounce ideas off their head, and and get some feedback about what's what they think. You know, and and it as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another, and then we need one another to grow. We really do. I mean, that's what the Ravens Outpost is all about. And the Ravens Eye, the live stream, that's where the knowledge is supposed to be centered at, based at a big round table of people coming together trying to figure things out. Rick, I appreciate you, brother. That's right, Painless. You the man. That's all I can say. You can hang in there with 6 broken ribs. Shite. Here's my spiritual teacher. Let me. Okay, what was in this soda? Well, if you want to call it that, I guess we could say we're kind of having a church right now. That's what it was. That's what was all meant to be. Not. I've got my own hang-ups with organized religion, but that's neither here nor there. When Jesus was walking around teaching, he didn't talk about we needed to do that. You know, coincidence and luck. Yeah, yeah. Took me a little while to wrap my head around it there for a while. Young and dumb, but all that. But yeah, divine guidance. I believe in a higher power. I totally do. Totally do. Yep. Derek, you're right. It's true. Yeah. Tell you what, guys, 2.5 hours into this, and it's 1:30 in the morning. I got to get my kid up and get him in on the school bus in the morning. Like I said, it's your third PhD. Holy dog mess. Wow. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I do. Before I sign off here and wish you beautiful people a wonderful night, I will remind you that Friday night I'll be having yet another live stream. If you guys want to tune into that one, this time I will be premiering it at midnight, and hopefully, my y'all killing me. Hopefully, my buddy John will be able to jump on here, and we'll have another great discussion. Joke. All right. I'm really sarcasm is your second language. Ray, I'm really starting to see that. Ray, Rick, Painless, and everybody who's watching and been listening. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank y'all for making this a good closer. And Brent, thank you, buddy. I appreciate everything you said to me. I took it to heart. Old and sassy, huh? Well, you stay sassy. That's what keeps you young. All right. Hey, everybody. This is me signing off from the Ravens Outpost from episode 2 of the Ravens Eye. And hope to see you back here Friday night at midnight. Friday night, Saturday morning. Okay. Until then, everybody, I love you, man.